Benvenuto! Welcome to Cherry Hill Home Cooking. My name is Mark. Today, we're going to make something that goes back many, many years into my childhood. So long ago, I don't think I've ever made this for Wade, childhood. I was skimming through recipes and I came across it. I said, hey, I used to have that as a kid. I've got my mom's recipe. So anyway, we're going to make porcupine meatballs. And don't worry, no porcupines will be hurt in this video. Of course, it's not made with porcupines. But first, before we go on to the rest of the ingredients, I want to talk a little bit about baked potatoes, because we're going to have baked potatoes with dinner tonight. Now, I've been told I make a good baked potato. I don't know why. It's, simplest thing to do, and I do absolutely nothing special. All right, the only thing I do is, so I got a nice russet potato here. I try to get, they're around the same size or so, okay, same weight, just so that they'll cook at about the same time. Now, the only thing I do is I take my little scrubby vegetable brush here and I run it under the water and I give them a good scrubbing, because Wade and I both like to eat the potato skins. Now, I've got my oven set at 350, which just by chance is the same thing we're going to do to finish off our recipe, or the same temperature. So, got a little fork here, and we're just going to put a few pokes in the top, guys, and just on the top side, or the one that you're going to put on the rack, all right? And you just need a few, just so it lets a little steam out of the potato, all right? And that's it. The only other thing we do is we bring it over to the oven. And like I said, I've already got it set at 350, and we're just going to put these right on the rack. All right, we'll pull this one out, and yes. Now, doesn't matter how close you put them together. I'm just putting them a little further apart because the pan is, there's going to be another pan that's going to go in there. And that's it. That's going to take about an hour. So if you're going to do, when you're doing this recipe, if you're going to do baked potatoes, of course you could do mashed potatoes, you could do rice, anything you want. But so have that be the first thing, because it's probably going to take 15-20 minutes to get the rest of our ingredients together and cooked off, and then we're going to put them in the oven, and that should be, within an hour. Then that's our other dish is going to bake for 40 minutes. So anyway, that's it. Come on back over. Let's talk about our porcupine meatballs. All right, so it's meatballs. So we need some meat, not porcupine meat, but we've got 1 pound of 85-15 Hamburg, and I've got another pound of ground pork. Now, if you don't want to use pork, use all ground beef. If you don't want to use ground beef, use all ground pork, or any combination thereof, as long as it adds up to be 2 pounds. All right, my mother always used ground pork and ground beef with it, so that's what we're going to use. Now, the interesting thing about these is we need some rice-a-roni. So the recipe calls for 2 boxes of rice-a-roni. You want to take your box of rice-a-roni, then you got your little flavor pack in there. You want to put these to the side, because we don't need those right now. One other thing while I've got this out, the recipe that my mother wrote down calls for 2 7-ounce, 7-ounce boxes of rice-a-roni. Well, this is a perfect example of product shrinkage, because now it's 6.8 ounces of rice-a-roni. So I'll fix that in the recipe. That's really, it's not a long, complicated recipe. We're going to need some beef broth. Now, you can also use water. I'm going to use actually both today, just because I had an open thing of beef broth from earlier in the week, so I'll use that up. I'm going to need a little bit of olive oil in this case, to fry up our meatballs, and then salt and pepper to taste. I'd go really, really easy on the salt, because this is already salted. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to put any salt in the rest of the recipe. I might put a little bit of pepper. Then you need some good old Worcestershire sauce, and we need garlic powder, dried oregano, all right, and we need 2 eggs, and we want those to be well-beaten eggs, and yes, I'm using the same fork that I used to poke the potatoes with. So give those a good, we want those to be very well incorporated. Now, and then also we're going to thicken our gravy. We're going to make a nice beef gravy. There's two versions to this recipe. There's one that's made with either tomato soup or a red sauce. We're going to make one with a beef gravy, okay? So we'll need some cornstarch to make a slurry in a little bit. That's going to also go with our beef stock. All right. Now, you can, and I usually would, make this in one pan. All right. And I usually, I would use a big pan like this. Okay. Good heavy bottom stainless steel pan, which I washed and everything and made it look all pretty. I was going to do it on the range, but it's a little bit more difficult to do it over there. So in this case, I'm going to fry our meatballs in a smaller frying pan. I'm going to make our gravy in a Dutch oven, which is once everything's done, we're going to put our meatballs back. Well, you'll see that. And then that'll go in the oven as well. All right. So I don't even think we need to bother to leave you guys. I'll put a little bit of good, probably half teaspoon of freshly ground pepper. And just because we've got to use a little salt, I'll put a small pinch in there. All right. And we can put those back. Let me have a sip of my Sprite. Okay, so, like I said, if you're good, we don't even have to cut because we can go right on to the rest of this because this is very easy. I'm going to put our pan on just to get it starting to get a little hot. Our flavor packet for the Rice-A-Roni is going to go in with our gravy, so we can put that all aside for that. I'll put some rubber gloves on. And by the way, those are, it calls for large eggs. I think those are actually extra large because that's all I had, but that's all right. But I went to the supermarket today, and up in our area, they're predicting a little bit of snow tomorrow night. Supermarket was crazy. I had to go to 3 different supermarkets to get everything I wanted, plus that big gigantic store that begins with a W to get cat food. But anyway, all 3 of them were mobbed. All right, so we'll put that on. I've got my Worcestershire sauce in here in my bowl already, guys. All right, so I'll place that in there gently. Now, if you're going to use all beef, I wouldn't use less than 85-15, maybe even, no, what is it? Yeah, 85-15, right? Or 80-20, because you want a little bit of, you want that fat to get your rice cooked, because we're going to actually not cook our rice, all right? So then we can take all of our spices, and so that's our dried oregano, a little bit of salt and pepper, and garlic powder. Or granulated garlic I used. All right. Then we're just going to take our box of rice. And Rice-A-Roni, I think, is a combination of rice, vermicelli, beef broth, carrots with other natural flavors. I guess a natural flavor could be anything, right? But anyway. So it's just not rice. Now, you could use just white rice if you wanted. I don't know how to adapt the recipe to that because I've never done it, but I'm sure there's somebody out there that has. And I'm going to give this a little mix because that's going to fall out. You know it's going to go flying right up to the ceiling. And give this a little mix before we put our egg in there. So we don't want any breadcrumbs or anything, guys, because our rice is gonna, do that for us. All right, now, usually when I'm gonna mix up meat like this up, I try to kind of take the meat out of the refrigerator maybe 30 minutes before I'm gonna mix it up, just so that it's not freezing cold. You're so cold your hands are gonna cramp up. This was nicely covered before all packaged before we started filming. All right, now we'll get both hands in there and mix it up. And I know you're going to think, how is that rice going to cook? And I don't know, somehow it magically cooks. At least from what I remember. Like I said, I haven't made this in a while. I hope you guys enjoy it if you've never had it before. Now, I've seen other recipes where they either just use a pound of Hamburg or half and half beef and pork. So I would assume my mother adapted this recipe a long time ago because, of course, we had me and my two brothers, and, of course, our house was the house where everybody was. So, you know, after school and everything, so there was always a friend or neighbors around. All right, I think that's pretty well mixed. All right, I'll roll them with my bare hands, but be right back. I just want to get one thing. Wade forgot to tell me to get it. But where is it? We'll use this one. All right, so, oops, look at something fell out. So now, we got our pan here. I'm going to turn that up to medium. We'll put a little bit of olive oil. Well, I'm going to hold off on that just because we're going to roll them first. All right, so depending upon how big you want your meatballs to be is going to depend upon how much you scoop or hand roll. Actually, Wade will concentrate on that for a minute, show you a beautiful picture, because I don't like that. That's too big. Be right back. Sorry. There we go. That's the one I want. All right, so this is the littler one. This is a kind of standard ice cream scoop. I don't know how. I think an ice cream scoop is a half a cup. And the small one, I think, is a fourth of a cup. Fourth of a cup. Anyway, so, like I said, depending upon how big you want them, or you can just use a tablespoon, but you guys know I'm a little crazy about these things. And we're going to just roll them up. It smells good.
It does.
All right. And, I mean, the reason I use the scoop, a couple different things, you know, so that at least I can give you guys an idea of, you know, the proper time that they're going to cook additionally. So I know at this, my mother always used a scoop, so. All right, now, I know, as exciting as it would be to watch me roll these, only Wade would find that exciting. You guys might find it boring. So, we'll be back when I have them all rolled up. Okay. All right, guys, Wade and I rolled up all our nice meatballs together, and we got just about approximately 30. There could be 29, there could be 31, depending upon how I counted. But anyway, so that 2 pounds of meat, the ground pork and the ground hamburger, make a pretty large amount of them. They're small, but still, that would definitely feed 6 or 8 hungry people with a vegetable and potatoes or rice or something. All right, so my pan is heated up. This is a non-stick pan, so I'm just gonna kind of drizzle a little bit of olive oil in there for flavor and just make sure everything doesn't stick. So, guys, we have browned so many things, so we're gonna put them in there again. You don't want to crowd your pan, so you might have to do it in a couple batches, just so that you also don't have to really push them around and break them up that much. There's egg in there, but So what we want to do is kind of get them a nice brown crusty on. Of course, they're round, so it's not going to be as easy if it was a flat surface. But so you get them in your pan, kind of push them around a little bit. We'll let those sit, get a little crust on there. And again, browning depends upon how high you keep your pan. I'm at medium high here. You know, you want to stay close by it because you don't want it to start to burn. You want to turn it if you smell or you feel it's going to start to burn. But anyway, I'm going to brown these all up. Unless you want to sit around and watch. Do you, Wade? I don't think so. No. All right, guys. We'll see you when our meatballs are all nice and browned. All right, guys. So you see, we got our meatballs all nicely browned. You don't have to worry about these. Don't have to cook through thoroughly because we are going to finish these up in the oven. Ooh, they look and smell delicious. I can't wait. I haven't had this in so long. All right, so we can take our frying pan off. Now, like I said, if I was doing this in a bigger frying pan like that was oven safe, I do it all in the same pot. But for demonstration purposes, so in this pan, I've got our 6 cups of liquid. So I've got 3 cups of beef broth and 3 cups of water. Like I said, I had some beef broth that I wanted to use up. Now we got our little seasoning packets. And we want to bring this to a boil. Get everything nicely dissolved. Just trying to, that smells beefy. So I got 31 meatballs out of it. I counted them as I fried them. All right, and so just give that a little stir, and we can sit here and watch it boil. Okay, we're just about at a boil. By the time we make our slurry, everything should be hot enough. Now, it might look like I'm making a lot of slurry here. So I've got a half a cup of cornstarch and I've got a half a cup of water. My mother wasn't specific. She just said use a slurry to thicken it in her recipe. So I'm going to make a little bit more than I probably need. So guys, we've done this before. You put your cornstarch in, put your water in, and give it a stir till you get all the lumps out, which it's not cooperating, but that's all right. I know Wade's trying to get a picture of that, so I don't want to throw it all over the place. There we go. No lumps. And our water is boiling. All right, so we will start. I'm going to turn my heat down, and we'll start to drizzle this in until it reaches the thickness I want. And again, that's completely up to you. The TARDIS is coming. Oh no, I shouldn't. Oh no, yeah. Who's? That's yours too. We must be getting on one of our chains. Alright, so again, as I started to say before our phones rudely interrupted us, it's going to depend upon how thick you want it. To me, that looks, we'll do a little more drop for good measure, but that looks perfect. And I'm still on medium-high heat, because of course that's what activates your cornstarch, is the heat in the liquid. All right, I'm going to give this a quick taste just to check the seasoning. All right, now you're done. I can shut you off. Ooh, that's boiling hot. Oh, it smells good. It smells just like rice-a-roni. I think it needs a little pepper. And maybe just a couple pinches of salt. Remember, we don't have a lot of salt in our meatballs. Okay, so again, guys, we've got our oven set at 350. We got our potatoes in there. And this has probably taken us just about 25 minutes to get this all done. So by the time this is done, our meatballs, I'm sorry, our potatoes should be perfect. Okay, so just drop them in there. Yeah, you can wait for me. I was going to say something else before we cut, but I don't know what I was talking about. I was going to say something about the meatballs or
Yes.
The potatoes. Yeah, I forgot though. It's slipped my mind now. As far as the meatballs are concerned, as we were browning them, our goal isn't to cook them as usual with when you brown things, because these are going to cook in their, or not cook, they're going to braise in their broth for about 40 minutes. But I was gonna, I'm sure it'll come to me and you guys will be so happy at the end of the video when I remember it and tell you. I talked about how many people were at the at the supermarket and everywhere I went, right? Are they, one thing Wade's got to do is fix the tire on our snowblower, and just for posterity's sake, I've reminded him many, many times. And he said he will as soon as he finds out that, when we're going to get a snowstorm. And he's going to do that tomorrow. But anyway, has the forecast changed? Are we going to get more than they were saying from the end of the week?
Haven't heard. Maybe.
No, all right. Now, does that not look delicious, guys? All right, I'm going to put the cover on. All right, because we want those to cook up nicely. We want the rest of our rice to get cooked. All right, so we're just going to put them on. I'm at the just about the halfway point of the oven, or half rack. All right, so that's going to take 40 minutes, and they should be delicious. Okay, set a timer for 40 minutes.
All right, 40 minutes. Starting now.
Starting now. Okay, now I get to clean up this mess, and hopefully in 40 minutes we're going to have a beautiful dinner because I'm kind of hungry. See you in a bit. One. All right, it's been 40 minutes. It smells delicious. I'm going to put this up here for now. We'll get our potatoes. I was going to say we'll test to see if those are done. Those are definitely done. All right. We'll move this over here. And let's see what we got in there. Is it going to be delicious? Look beautiful? Oh, yes. Oh, that came out very nice. What do you think?
It's good to me.
All righty. Let's plate it up and we'll have dinner. See you guys in a little bit. Okay, magically, it's dinner time again. Yay! So we got our porcupine meatballs. And you can see how beautifully they're cooked all the way through. Hopefully our rice is done. I'm sure it is. We got our nice baked potato, some butter, salt, and pepper, and some sour cream if you want. I'm going to have a little bit of sour cream. Just a tad. This is the first time I bought this. Wade said, "Where's the sour cream?" I said, "It's right there."
Interesting.
Right. Yeah. So, I think it's a good idea, a good invention, a good way to do it. Yeah, because we usually buy a pint of sour cream for something, and we end up not using the whole thing. So that will stay good. All right, we're going to go in for your meatball, of course.
Of course, yes, star.
That's the star of the
feature
recipe. It smells delicious. Like I said, I don't think I've ever made this for you. If I did, it was a long, long time ago.
Wow, that is good. That's delicious. Gravy came out amazing, yep.
Just like I remember.
Wow.
Well, all right, guys. I hope you've enjoyed making this with us. I hope you make it yourselves. If you do, let us know. If not, just say hello.
Please remember to like, subscribe, check out cherryhillhomecooking.com. Thank you for watching our video. See you on the next one.
Ciao.
Bye.
That's not me. Good?
Oh yes, it is good.